In this video, we'll be solving linear systems by substitution. So in example 1, we're solving for x and y. So we have two equations. What I need to do is I need to solve for one of the variables in one of the equation. So for the first one, I solve for y. And then I substitute the value of the variable into the other equation and then solve, in this case, for x. So when I solve for x, I end up getting x equals 0. Now I still need to find y. So I could use one of the other equations, put in my substitute 0 in for x, and solve for y. In this case, I get y equals 2. I'm going to add a sixth step here, and that is check your answer with both equations. So I can use 2x plus 3y equals 6 and negative 4x plus y equals 2, and I'm going to plug in my 0.02 for both, and I get 6 equals 6 and 2 equals 2, so that means that worked. So we don't always get integers for x and y, and in example 2, solve the system, we will not. So once again, I'm going to solve for one of the variables for one of the equations. So I'm going to solve for x on the first equation. And then once I find x, I substitute what x equals for x in the second equation. And you'll see that although it looks kind of ugly, it does work out somewhat nicely. And I get it 2/3 for y. So now I'm going to take the other equation, 2x plus 3y equals 3, and I'm going to substitute 2/3 in for y. 3 times 2/3 is 2, so that's nice. And when I solve for x, I end up getting 1/2. So I've got 1/2 and 2/3. Now I should check this solution with both equations, and mainly I do this just to make sure I didn't make any careless errors, and I see in this case it works. Okay, example 3, Anne is trying to choose between two phone plans. The first plan with Vendafone costs $20 per month, with calls costing additional 25 cents per minute. The second company, Cellnet, charges $40 per month, but calls cost only 8 cents per minute. Which should she choose? So we should let C equal the cost in dollars and M equals the number of minutes. So the cost for Vendafone would be the rate, which is 0.25 times the number of minutes, plus her one-time cost per month, which is $20 for the plan. Cellnet, the cost would be $0.08 per minute, or that's 8 cents per minute, plus $40 per month. So what we want to do is find when these costs are equal and find the number of minutes so that we can decide if we want less minutes or more minutes, which phone plan would be the best. So I'm going to solve for M in this case, and I get 117.65 minutes. So I can make a quick sketch over here just to show you an idea what this looks like. The red is Vendafone and the blue is Cellnet. If I'm going to go with less than 117 minutes, I want the Vendafone plan. If it's going to be more, I should use Cellnet. Example 4, Janine empties her purse and finds it contains only nickels and dimes. If she has a total of 7 coins and they have a combined value of 45 cents, how many of each coin does she have? So we can say N equals the number of nickels, D equals the number of dimes. So N plus D equals 7. That's the total number of coin equation. And 0.05 N plus 0.10 D equals 0.45. That's the total amount of money equation. So I can solve for N in the first equation, substitute it in for N in the second equation, and solve for D. This will tell me how many dimes. Once I figure out how many dimes, which is 2 in this case, I can substitute that back in the first equation, and I see that the number of nickels is 5. So there are 2 dimes and 5 nickels, and that's it. Example 5, a chemist needs to prepare 500 milliliters of copper sulfate solution with a 15% concentration. She wishes to use a high concentration solution of 60% and dilute it with a low concentration solution 5%. In order to do this, how much of each solution should she use? Well, we can let X be the amount of 60% solution, Y is the 5% solution. So X plus Y is going to get my total of 500. 0.6X plus 0.05Y would give me the concentrated part, and that has to be 15% of 500, or 0.15 500. So here you see I multiply 100 to get rid of the decimals. I solve for X in the first equation. I could have solved for Y, doesn't matter. And then I substitute that into my second equation and add like terms, solve for Y. I get 409. If I use that in the first equation, which is the easiest, I can easily find X, which is 91. So you'll need 91 milliliters of 60% and 409 milliliters of 5%. And that's it. I hope this makes sense.